Right, so I haven't done a video for a couple of weeks, but I have been busy on this. I don't do videos as often as I used to do, basically just because there's sort of a lot of stuff that just takes ages. There's not a huge amount to show for the amount of hours that go in, so but I'll obviously do it whenever there's sort of a periodic time when it's worth doing. You'll notice some changes as I run around, and obviously I'll show you a second part of this video as well, where there's an inside of the door I've been working on. The driver's door is basically nearly finished anyway. That's back at home, but this other door basically is being cracked on with at the moment, which I'll sort of show in a second. So basically I've done a load of work on this arch. So before, all this arch work here was basically all over the place. It's not fully done yet, it's only to 40 grit level. It's all got to be done at 240 here, and basically long block. None of this has been long blocked or anything, but it's basically looking quite good. As you can see, that basically it's nearly there, looking quite good. And that, and this end, where is it? There it is, there we go. There you are, looking quite smart. Edges looking pretty good. Got to sort out this bottom piece here, to basically, because I've made it so there's a slight little bit of poke now to match the rears, which I'll show you the rears in a minute. Basically it comes out very slightly, which it didn't before. So this section here is very, very slightly, well, a few millimeters too wide. So I've basically got to take this bottom of the skirt off, get it flat basically around there. Nice easy job. But yeah, basically I've been working on getting all this the right shape around here, so it's nice and tight when the air rides down. I've got to do the front section, as you can see there. That's got to be blended into the inner arch, which you can't actually see, to be honest, but all that inner arch liner is now done. You can't see a thing behind there, can you? Not really. But it's all fiberglass and everything behind there. That's one of the big jobs I've been doing. But you can see how the sides all coming together quite nicely now. It's got a bit of extra to take out here, just an extra couple of mil, so it's completely round and perfectly fine. So that's a nice easy job as well. But that'll be done as part of this section. Again, I'm working on the front piece, sort of taking that in a couple of mil, getting the bumper all lined up nice and straight. That's basically what I'm working on at the end of now, basically, pretty much. I've had to build out, because I've obviously brought this down a bit to match the wheel properly. I've had to modify all this side of things. This has all been fiberglass refilled, all done on that side. Quite a lot of work involved with that, to be honest. If you do fiberglassing yourself, you'll know how labour intensive that is. I'll show you this side. I'll fiberglass the mirror back on. Let's get in there. Bit of filler in there as well. Under there we go. The mirror is basically on. People say, why are you using mirrors? There's no point, you can't use it anyway. There'll be cameras in there. Basically there'll be a flat piece in here, so it'll look like a mirror. There'll be a camera basically behind it. So there'll be a camera this side, camera that side, and then there'll be another 2, maybe 4 cameras around the car, so I can drive it in and out the trailer and that sort of thing. The sill looks quite nice when it's on the floor now. Let's try and get a good shot of this. You can see very well here. I'll try. So it looks quite nice now it's on the floor. That door there is obviously not fitting fully yet. It was before, but now I'm doing the inside part of it and changing the profile slightly of all these inside edges to basically curve around to make the panel inside the door, again, which I'll show you on the second part of the video. Obviously I've got to take bits back and obviously redo a few of the lines, but that's an easy job, not a problem, easy enough to do. I've done all the filler work under here. On the previous video there was basically where I'd screwed all the new sections in, all the mounting hardware and everything. It wasn't meeting the sill properly. Now it's all been filled in, flattened back properly. I've also done the shape of the sill, because this, oops, fingers in the way. This sill here was very slightly the wrong shape, so it was kind of went down there and then kind of went like that, whereas now it's a nice continuous curve. So that looks pretty good. Again, all this is just a 40 grit level. None of this has been long blocked either. I'm going to do it all in one hit. Basically, when it's all done and everything fits, I'll long block the whole side before I start anything else. That's the next plan. The rear looks pretty spot on, to be honest. So you can see again where the sill fits. Looking good under there. Looks good under there. And there's a little bit of, tiny bit of poke with the wheel here. There we are. That's obviously now that the Brembos and the discs are in there. It brings it out a few mil, which looks quite nice, to be honest. That was always the original plan anyway, so that's fine. Looks really tidy, to be honest. The whole arch here is completely shaped. That's pretty much spot on. There's just literally the last bit of 240 to get these edges perfect. You can see how that kind of goes up like that and then kinks very slightly there. Don't know if anyone can really see it, but if you do body work, you'll just probably spot that a mile off. And then it's got to be obviously made round, but that's literally a 240 grit level. Nice and straightforward, but it's actually looking really smart all the way around. Obviously the inner arch line is already done as well. Up here, the mountings for the door are done. So this door now sits on 2 mounts. So there's one there, they've been welded on. I'll show you from the other side what they're like when I've took the door off and done part 2. But basically I've got to build all this up basically. I've sort of started already, but it's got to be fitting properly first. You can see where the gap is. That won't be there obviously. There'll be a section of the door here which basically curves around but doesn't interfere with this line, which is quite tricky because this end here and also this end here, obviously normally there's a window here and it's all one piece, as you've probably seen on previous videos, but this piece here basically fits almost snug to the B pillar where all the obviously components down there, and then the curved piece ready for the sub enclosure is all there, so it's very difficult to actually get it flat and not interfere with each other so it doesn't sit right. This end's actually a better end, it doesn't sit too bad, just sits a little bit too low, but that's no problem. So you've got to lean on it, and obviously the lines themselves are still pretty good, so not a problem there. Right, I'll do part 2 in a second with the inside of the door, show you what's going on there. Okay, and then see what happens. Okay, so part 2. This is the inside of the door. Not very doorish, as you can see, but the general gist is there. The main strength is all in there now, and basically it's ready for all the positioning parts and everything else to go on and be the right shape. So I'll sort of run through, it's difficult to explain really what's going on here. It's just a relatively lightish weight door. So obviously that's where the B pillar is. All this section here has been built up inside with sort of wooden blocks with screws and welded panels. There's welded pieces under there. You can see some welded section in there, goes top to bottom basically, nice and strong, and then it's all fiberglass together. These are just basically sat inside just to keep a bit of strength for now until it's ready to have the other sections put on. But basically once I know where I am with shape wise, I can start putting more mounts here, again stretch fabric and stuff, and then basically take this round so it goes inside there and then make it all look nice and everything else. When it comes around to the actual fit inside later on, the dash comes out to around about, let's try and move around here. The dash comes out to around about here, so there'll be a section in here, a biggish section where there'll be 2 tablets, the same as the other door. If you haven't seen the other door, then there's some videos of it elsewhere and some pictures and stuff, or I can put some on if needs be. But basically the tablets sit here, so there'll be 2 tablets sit there, that'll go around and obviously into the dash around there like it would before. And then all this section here will be tidied up. This is all just, well, very rough fiberglass. You can see where the brackets have been welded on, where it sort of sits on those. Again, that's literally the roughest thing ever, just because it's only just been done. But eventually this will look like the other door, which looks pretty smart, to be honest, nice and curved. Looks like a plane door almost. You know when you get like them sort of plastic mouldings inside planes and curves around and stuff, a bit like that. So yeah, that's basically what it looks like inside currently. It looks a complete state, to be fair, but this is definitely workable and it's going to look quite good. Again, this side, it's still fiberglassed in, so that's actually fiberglassed to itself as well. It's nice and solid, but there's going to be a couple of little bits here as well, same, and then stretched round, and then I'll make the fiberglass tablet holders and stuff first before I get anywhere else after that. So I'll be working on this, I'll be working on that side. I'll work on this front bumper probably first, just to get that tidied up and everything else sorted that side. Yeah, so door in that front I think is the next plan, and then after that it'll probably be inside of this door, well, this will be part of it, as in getting it fitted and properly attached to the car, and then go from there. But yeah, let me know what you think. Feel free to comment, subscribe, all the usual stuff, and I'll do another video as and when there's anything interesting going on.